You think you know what she wants? You've read the articles, watched the movies, and maybe even tried to copy what you see in porn. You've focused on technique, on lasting longer, on being the perfect performer. And yet, something's still missing. There's a disconnect. A gap between the physical act and that earth-shattering, soul-bearing connection you're both hungry for. What if I told you that everything you've been taught about what women want is, at best, incomplete, and at worst, just plain wrong? What if the key to unlocking her deepest primal urges, to making her crave you and only you, has nothing to do with what you do with your body, and everything to do with what you do with your mind? The secret isn't some new pickup line or fancy technique. It's a 2,300-year-old philosophy forged by warriors and emperors. It's called Stoicism, and it's about to become your greatest advantage. Let's be honest, the modern dating world is a minefield. You're told to be sensitive but not weak, confident but not arrogant. You're supposed to lead but also be an equal partner. It's confusing, and that confusion bleeds right into the bedroom. You're trying so hard to get it right, to push all the right buttons, that you end up becoming this mechanical, anxious guy. You get so stuck in your own head, worrying about your performance and if you're good enough, that you completely miss what's happening right in front of you. You miss her. You see, for most men, sex is a goal. The mission is orgasm. Hers, then yours. Mission accomplished. But for a woman, sex is contextual. It doesn't start in the bedroom. It starts in her mind long before any clothes come off. It's woven into every part of how you interact. Her desire is often responsive, not spontaneous like a man's. It needs to be coaxed out and nurtured on a foundation of emotional safety and connection. She needs to feel wanted, seen, and understood on a level that goes way beyond the physical. In fact, one researcher famously said that for many women, being desired is the orgasm. This is where most men get it wrong. They treat sex like a physical sprint when, for her, it's an emotional marathon. They focus on the what, the positions, the moves, while totally ignoring the how and the why. They don't get that a woman's brain is her largest sexual organ. You can have perfect technique and the stamina of a marathon runner, but if you haven't connected with her mind, if you haven't made her feel emotionally safe and primally understood, you are leaving the most explosive part of her sexuality completely untouched. You're just a body going through the motions, and another body can always replace that. The frustration is real. You do everything you think you're supposed to, and you get a lukewarm response. You feel like you're just guessing, throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping something sticks. This just leads to more performance anxiety, more frustration, and a growing distance that poisons the very intimacy you're trying to build. You feel powerless, like she's holding all the cards, but the truth is, you've been trying to win a game without knowing the rules. The game isn't about power, it's about presence, and the rule book was written centuries ago. Now, when you hear Stoicism, you probably picture a stiff, emotionless statue, someone who just buries their feelings and takes whatever life throws at them. That's a huge misunderstanding. Ancient Stoics like Marcus Aurelius and Seneca weren't emotionless. They were masters of their emotions. They knew that while you can't control what happens outside of you, like another person's feelings, you have absolute control over your own mind, your intentions, and your actions. And that, right there, is the key. Stoicism, when you apply it to seduction and sex, isn't about being detached or cold. It's the total opposite. It's the ultimate tool for becoming radically present, emotionally intelligent, and unshakably confident, the exact traits that trigger a woman's deepest, most primal attraction. While other guys are scrambling around, trying to impress, begging for validation, and getting lost in their own anxiety, the Stoic man is a rock. He's centered. His validation comes from inside. He isn't trying to get a reaction from her. He's present enough to receive the one she's already giving. He doesn't play games. He operates from a place of such profound self-control and inner peace that he creates a space of absolute safety for her to let go completely. This isn't about dark psychology or manipulative tricks. That's for boys. This is about building a core of masculine energy so powerful and grounded that it bypasses her logical mind and speaks directly to her instincts. It's about understanding that true dominance isn't about force. It's the quiet, steady confidence of a man who has mastered himself. This philosophy will teach you to stop chasing her and instead build a reality so compelling that she's naturally drawn right into it. We're about to deconstruct the female mind and rebuild your entire approach to sex, using Stoic wisdom as our blueprint. We'll go from the mindset to the nitty-gritty, practical application. Get ready to stop guessing and start knowing. Section 1, the Stoic mindset, the foundation of seduction. Before we even think about techniques or positions, we have to rebuild your internal operating system. Your mind is the battlefield. If you can't win there, you'll never win in the bedroom. These 3 Stoic principles are the absolute foundation. Principle 1, the dichotomy of control in the bedroom. The first, most important idea in Stoicism is the dichotomy of control. It says some things are up to us and some aren't. What's up to us? Our judgments, our intentions, our desires, our actions. What's not up to us? Our health, our wealth, our reputation, and, this is the big one, the thoughts, feelings, and reactions of other people. Think about this with sex. What do most men obsess over? Things they can't control. Will I make her orgasm? Does she think I'm good at this? Is she even having fun? These questions are the root of all your performance anxiety. You're fixated on an outcome that is ultimately not in your control. You cannot make her feel anything. You can't force an orgasm. Trying to control her response is the very thing that makes you a nervous, disconnected, and selfish lover. It keeps you trapped in your head, analyzing every little sound she makes, instead of just being with her. A Stoic approach flips this on its head. You let go of the outcome because you realize it's an external. It's out of your hands. Instead, you pour 100% of your focus into what you can control. So what can you control? Your presence. You can choose to be fully, radically present, not thinking about the next move, not worrying about the finish line, but just completely absorbed in the sensory experience, the feel of her skin, the sound of her breath, the look in her eyes. A man who is truly present isn't just physically in the room, he's giving his full attention, and that is the sexiest gift you can give. Your intention. You can control your why. Is your intention just to get yours? To prove something? Or is it to explore her pleasure, to connect, to give, to worship her body and her energy? A woman feels your intention. She knows when she's an object versus a partner. Your attentiveness. You control how you touch her, kiss her, and listen to her body. You can choose to be an attentive lover who actually observes and responds to her cues. The subtle arch of her back, the quickening of her breath, the soft moan she tries to hold back. You become a detective of her pleasure, discovering what makes her body sing instead of a bulldozer trying to force a reaction. Your self-control. The Stoics warned against being a slave to your passions. In bed, this means controlling your own arousal. It means you can slow down, you can tease, you can vary the tempo, you can hold back, all for her. A man who is a slave to his own release can't be a masterful lover, but a man who has mastered his own urges can orchestrate an experience that prioritizes her journey, which paradoxically makes it way more intense for both of you. By focusing only on what you can control, you're free. The pressure is gone, the anxiety vanishes. You're no longer a performer begging for applause. You're an artist, completely lost in the act of creation. This non-needy, present, giving energy is magnetic. She can finally relax because she feels you aren't there to take something from her. You're there to share an experience with her. You create the safety she needs to truly surrender. This is the first step. Stop trying to control her mind. Principle 2, self-sufficiency, the ultimate aphrodisiac. A core idea in Stoicism is that your well-being and self-worth have to come from inside you. A Stoic finds fulfillment in living with virtue, in mastering his own mind. Relationships are great to have, but your happiness and value as a man don't depend on them. Now think about what this means for attraction. What's one of the biggest turnoffs for a woman? Neediness. A man who needs her validation. A man who needs her approval. A man who needs her to text back right away. A man who needs sex to feel like a man. This needy energy screams scarcity and weakness. It basically says, My happiness depends on you, which is a huge burden for her to carry. It makes her feel like you're a black hole she's supposed to fill. The Stoic man is the exact opposite. He is self-sufficient. His confidence isn't an act. It's just a natural result of his self-mastery. He doesn't need her, which ironically makes her want him. Why? He has a mission. The Stoic man is busy with his purpose, his career, his fitness, his creative projects. He's into something bigger than just chasing women. This makes his time and attention valuable. A woman feels like she has to earn a place in his world, not that he's just sitting around waiting for her. He isn't playing hard to get. He is hard to get because he has a life. He is unshakable. Because his validation is internal, he isn't rattled by her moods or her little tests. If she pulls away, he doesn't panic and chase. He gives her space, secure in his own value. If she challenges him, he doesn't get defensive. He meets it with calm strength. This creates a powerful sense of stability. She feels he is a rock, an anchor. A woman can't fully surrender to a man she thinks she might break. She can only truly let go with a man she knows is unbreakable. He leads with his reality. A needy man tries to fit into her world. A Stoic man invites her into his. His confidence and purpose create a reality that's more exciting and stable than what most people have. Women are instinctively drawn to men who lead, not by being controlling, but through the sheer force of their centered masculine presence. Being self-sufficient doesn't mean being a cold, aloof jerk. It means you are whole on your own. You want her, but you don't need her. You choose her not to fill a hole in yourself, but to share your completeness with her. This is an incredibly powerful and sexy dynamic. It allows her to be feminine and soft because she knows she's with a solid masculine man. She doesn't have to manage your emotions, so she's free to explore her own. This is the foundation that real primal passion is built on. CTA? If you're starting to see how this ancient wisdom is more powerful than any modern dating trick, then subscribe and hit that notification bell. We're about to move from the internal mindset to the external actions. The next sections are where we apply this Stoic power to create an unforgettable physical connection. You don't want to miss it. Principle 3, emotional mastery, reading her unspoken language. People often mistake Stoicism for suppressing emotion. It's not. It's the observation and understanding of emotion without being controlled by it. It's emotional intelligence. A Stoic feels an emotion: anger, jealousy, lust. And instead of just reacting, he pauses, looks at it, and chooses a rational response. This skill, when you turn it outward, lets you become a master at reading and navigating her emotional world. Like we said, female desire is deeply tied to emotion. For a woman to feel sexually open, she has to first feel emotionally understood. Most men are completely illiterate in the language of female emotion. They either ignore it, try to fix it logically, you shouldn't feel that way, or get totally overwhelmed by it. The Stoic lover does none of these. He uses his emotional mastery to become her anchor. He's an active listener. He doesn't just hear words, he listens for the feeling underneath. When she talks about her bad day, he doesn't jump to solutions. He offers presence. He validates her feelings. That sounds really frustrating. He creates a space where she feels heard without judgment. A woman who feels emotionally safe with you in a conversation is a woman who will feel safe enough to be physically vulnerable with you later. He reads body language. Women often communicate their desires without saying a word. The anxious guy, trapped in his head, misses everything. The present Stoic man notices. He sees the way her eyes hold his for an extra second. He sees the slight shift in her body when he gets closer. He hears the change in her voice. He isn't guessing. He's observing reality and adjusting. This attention to detail makes her feel incredibly seen and desired. He's calm in the storm. Her emotions can feel like a hurricane. A man who gets swept up in her drama or anger isn't a leader. He's just along for the ride. The Stoic man stays centered. He can face her anger without getting angry. He can absorb her anxiety without becoming anxious. He is the calm eye of the storm. This emotional strength is a massive turn-on. It signals to her primal brain that he's a man who can handle reality, a man she can depend on when things get tough. This makes her feel protected, which is an absolute requirement for sexual surrender. When you master your own emotions, you get the superpower of being able to handle hers. You stop being afraid of her feelings and start seeing them as information that helps you understand her better. You become the man she can be her complete self with, messy, emotional, and all, because she knows you won't run. You have the strength to hold that space for her, and a woman who feels that level of acceptance will open up to you in ways you can't even imagine. Section 2. The explicit blueprint. Stoic wisdom in the bedroom. Okay, let's bridge the gap. We're taking the internal Stoic mastery and applying it directly to the physical act of sex. This isn't just a list of positions, it's a guide to using your body as an extension of your present powerful mind. Technique 1. The philosophy of foreplay. Presence over process. To the average guy, foreplay is a chore. It's the thing you have to do to get to the main event. This is a huge mistake. For a woman, foreplay isn't the prelude to the act. In many ways, it is the act. Her desire is a slow burn, not a light switch. For many women, it takes time for her body and mind to get in sync and move into a state of full arousal. A Stoic gets this. He applies presence and empathy. Foreplay isn't a checklist, it's a meditation. Abandon the goal. Go into foreplay with no goal other than to discover and worship her body. Take intercourse off the table as the finish line. Your only mission is to be present with her. This instantly kills the pressure and allows her whole nervous system to relax. Engage all senses. This is where you practice radical presence. Notice the texture of her skin, the smell of her hair, the taste of her lips, the sound of her breathing. Get lost in the details. When you are fully absorbed in her, she feels it. She feels like the center of your universe. And that feeling is a powerful aphrodisiac. Listen with your hands. Your hands aren't just tools to get her ready. They are how you communicate. Pay attention to how her body responds. Does she lean in? Does she tense up? Does her breathing change? Slow down. Use different kinds of touch. Light, firm, teasing. Explore her whole body, not just the obvious places. Also, don't forget that being playful and making her laugh is one of the best forms of foreplay. You're not just imposing your will, you're discovering hers. When you treat foreplay like a sacred practice, you're telling her, without words, I am here for you. I'm not in a rush. Your pleasure is my pleasure. This builds the tension to a fever pitch, so by the time you even think about intercourse, she's not just physically ready, but mentally and emotionally begging for it. Technique 2. The clitoris, the Stoics' true north. Let's be blunt. For most of history, female anatomy has been ignored. It is a biological fact that the vast majority of women cannot and will not orgasm from penetration alone. The clitoris, with its thousands of nerve endings, is the epicenter of her pleasure. Ignoring it is like trying to start a fire without a spark. It's just ineffective. The wise Stoic man doesn't fight reality. He accepts it and works with it. Understanding the clitoris isn't just a tip, it's a fundamental sign of respect and intelligence.